cinema has always been drawn to trickster demons, the chaotic forces that upend reality with a wicked grin. Beetlejuice wreaks havoc in the afterlife, turning it into his own twisted playground. The mask unleashes an uncontrollable wave of mischief, and Marvel's Loki, borrowing from ancient Norse mythology, walks the line between hero and villain, sowing chaos wherever he goes. These aren't just characters born from screenwriters' imaginations. They tap into something far older and deeper. Tricksters like Loki, Anansi from African tales, and the Native American coyote have danced through myths for centuries, stirring trouble and transformation in their wake. Jungian psychology tells us these figures aren't just stories. They are reflections of the human psyche, forces of chaos and change buried deep within us all. They reveal our fascination with the unpredictable, the desire to shatter the mundane, and the need to confront the wild, untamed side of life. These trickster demons remind us that beneath the surface of our structured world lies a realm of primal magic and delicious mayhem. Do you dare to look beyond the veil and see what they're really up to? The trickster is an ancient spectre, a figure that has crept through the myths and stories of nearly every culture. It has taken many forms, each with its own flavour of mischief and cunning. Consider Loki, the notorious Norse god whose very name conjures images of chaos. Loki is a shapeshifter, a master of disguise who can be a fly one moment and a woman the next. His tales are riddled with double crosses and deceptions. One of his most infamous tricks involved the goddess Idun and her golden apples, the source of the god's immortality. Loki lured Idun out of Asgard, allowing a giant to kidnap her, and nearly condemned the gods to a mortal fate. Only after being threatened with torture did Loki use his wiles to rescue her. Yet it was Loki who engineered the death of Balder, the most beloved of gods, by convincing Balder's blind brother to hurl a dart of mistletoe, the only thing that could harm him. For this, he was bound to a rock with the entrails of his own son, a snake dripping venom onto his face until the end of time, which will be marked by Ragnarok. In Loki, we see the trickster as both a destroyer and a force that compels the gods, and us, to face our darkest shadows. Turn to West Africa and the Caribbean, and you'll find Anansi, the clever spider god who weaves webs not just to trap prey but to entangle the minds of gods and men alike. Anansi is a trickster of a different sort. His antics are driven not by malice, but by a thirst for knowledge, and a desire to upend the power dynamics that keep wisdom out of the hands of the common folk. One famous tale tells of how Anansi sought to possess all the world's wisdom and stored it in a clay pot. But as he tried to hide it in a treetop, the pot fell and shattered, scattering wisdom across the world for everyone to grasp. Another story recounts how he outwitted the deadly hornets, the python and the leopard to collect them as trophies for the sky god Niam, in exchange for ownership of all stories. Anansi's tricks are often a way to expose arrogance, challenge authority, or highlight the foolishness of the powerful. His stories, told across generations, are more than entertainment. They're lessons on the craftiness needed to survive and thrive in a world where the strong often oppress the weak. Meanwhile, the Native American coyote prowls the deserts and mountains of the Southwest, a figure of relentless trickery and paradox. The Navajo tell of coyote's insatiable appetite, not just for food but for causing trouble. In one story, Coyote saw the water monster's baby, and ignoring warnings, picked it up out of sheer curiosity and foolishness. This reckless act brought a great flood upon the world, forcing Coyote and the other holy people to flee to higher ground. In another tale, he tricks the thunder god into giving him fire, a great boon for humanity. But his methods are deceitful, and his motives are far from pure. Coyote's stories are full of such contradictions, He is both a hero and a fool, a creator of worlds and a bringer of calamity. His tales speak to the complexity of life itself, where wisdom is often gained through folly, and chaos can lead to creation. Hermes, the Greek god of boundaries and transitions, serves as a trickster of a different stripe. Known for his winged sandals and mischievous grin, Hermes is the guide of souls to the underworld and the protector of thieves. In one myth, Hermes, still a mere infant, sneaks out of his cradle to steal Apollo's sacred cattle, cleverly reversing their hooves to cover his tracks. When Apollo confronts him, Hermes charms his way out of trouble with the gift of the lyre, an instrument he invented from a tortoise shell. As a god of commerce, trade, and cunning, Hermes moves between worlds, serving as a bridge and a boundary crosser. His tricks are not just to amuse, but to remind the gods and mortals alike that the lines between order and chaos, truth and deception, are not so clear-cut. Hermes embodies the trickster's role as a liminal figure, one who exists between realms and forces us to question the boundaries we accept without thought. Each of these tricksters, Loki, Anansi, Coyote, Hermes, is a master of duality, balancing on the knife edge between creation and destruction, wisdom and folly. They are reminders that the universe itself is a chaotic dance, where every act of destruction is a prelude to a new creation. It's no surprise, then, that these ancient figures find their way into modern stories. When Beetlejuice turns the afterlife into his own anarchic circus, when Loki's silver tongue manipulates the fate of gods and men, or when the mask unleashes uninhibited chaos, they are walking in the footsteps of these mythic tricksters. Their tales aren't just for entertainment, they are lessons buried deep in the psyche. The tricksters reveal that chaos is not just a force of destruction, but a vital energy that propels us forward, forces us to confront our assumptions, and pushes the boundaries of what we believe to be possible. They remind us that life's most profound truths are often found not in the predictable, but in the unpredictable, in the moments when the trickster strikes and the world tilts on its axis, revealing what lies hidden beneath. From the ancient myths to the flickering screens of our darkest cinemas, the trickster has always found a way to slip through the cracks, donning new guises to stir the pot. And few embody the Trickster Demons' essence like Beetlejuice, a ghost who delights in breaking the rules of both the living and the dead. In Tim Burton's 1988 classic, Beetlejuice isn't just a ghost for hire. He's a master manipulator, a chaotic force who disrupts the boundaries of the afterlife. With his wild manic energy and penchant for dark humour, Beetlejuice is as likely to pull a prank as he is to unleash terror. He thrives on disorder, reveling in his ability to scare, confuse, and warp reality to his whims. One minute he's a salesman in a carnival barker's get-up, pitching his services to the bewildered Maitlands. The next, he's a giant snake wreaking havoc on their unsuspecting victims. His power lies in his unpredictability. He's both the trick and the threat, blending comedy and horror into a singular, unforgettable experience. He serves no master and follows no rules, embodying the very spirit of the trickster who knows that true power comes not from order, but from the delicious chaos that lies beyond it. But Beetlejuice is not alone in his chaotic playground. Another icon of trickster energy in film is Loki, brought to life in Marvel's cinematic universe. Here, Loki isn't just the god of mischief from Norse mythology. He's a complex character who dances between villainy and heroism. From his introduction in Thor to his more nuanced portrayal in the Loki series, this shapeshifter is driven by a thirst for power, recognition, and perhaps most of all, identity. Loki, played by Tom Hiddleston, is not content with the role assigned to him. He subverts it, twists it, and remakes it on his own terms. Whether he's trying to conquer Earth with an army of Chitauri in the Avengers, or leading a revolution in Thor Ragnarok, Loki's tricks aren't just about chaos. They're about control, defiance, and the refusal to be defined by anyone but himself. He is both the jester and the strategist, a figure who challenges the established norms of both Asgard and Midgard, forcing everyone to question who truly holds power. His ever-shifting alliances and motives reflect the trickster's core, a force that cannot be pinned down, one that delights in upending expectations and playing on the thin line between order and anarchy. And then there's The Mask, a film that takes trickster energy and turns it into a cartoonish fever dream. When Stanley Ipkiss, a meek and mild-mannered bank clerk, dons the ancient Norse mask, he is transformed into a whirlwind of uninhibited chaos. The Mask, portrayed with outrageous flair by Jim Carrey, embodies the pure, unrestrained side of the trickster. Here, reality bends, and the ordinary world gives way to the absurd. Rules of physics are defied, social conventions are shattered, and the line between comedy and madness blurs. The Mask isn't just a source of slapstick humour. He's a subversive force who exposes the hypocrisy and absurdity of the world around him. From turning a Dance with Gangsters into a Broadway number to turning his adversary's bullets into a harmless charade, The Mask shows that in the hands of a true trickster, reality itself is nothing but putty. The transformation of Stanley into the Mask speaks to the hidden desires within all of us, to break free, to act without consequence, and to laugh in the face of danger. In a darker vein, we find John Constantine's universe, where the trickster demon takes on a more sinister and chilling form. Here, the world of demons is a complex web of deception, and the tricksters play with stakes higher than mere mischief. Take Balthazar, portrayed by Gavin Rossdale, a demon who walks between worlds, charming and menacing all at once. Balthazar isn't interested in flashy chaos. His tricks are subtle, psychological, designed to corrupt souls and bend them toward damnation. Then there's Gabriel, the fallen archangel played by Tilda Swinton, whose betrayal is revealed to be a twisted plan to test humanity, blurring the lines between divine purpose and diabolic trickery. In Constantine, the trickster is not merely a prankster, but a puppet master pulling strings from the shadows, showing that the line between salvation and damnation is far more delicate than it seems. Trickster demons in film are more than just characters. They are disruptors, forces that tear down the comfortable walls of our expectations and thrust us into the unknown. They are reflections of our own subconscious desires. The wish to break free from conformity, to laugh in the face of danger, to see the world turned upside down even for a moment. Whether it's Beetlejuice upending the afterlife's order with a manic laugh, Loki challenging the gods' divine right, The Mask unleashing a tidal wave of unchecked freedom, or Constantine's demons playing with the fate of souls, these tricksters reveal a truth buried in all of us. They tap into the deep, primal urge for chaos and transformation, a reminder that sometimes the rules are made to be broken, and that there's a part of us all that longs to step outside the lines and dance with the madness. The trickster is not just a figure of myth or cinema. It's a deep, primal force embedded within the human psyche. Carl Jung, the founder of analytical psychology, identified the trickster as one of the core archetypes that reside in the collective unconscious, a vast, inherited reservoir of symbols, instincts, and narratives shared by all of humanity. In Jungian psychology, the trickster represents the shadow self, the hidden parts of our personalities that we repress or deny because they do not fit within the acceptable social or personal identity. But the trickster refuses to stay buried. It surfaces when we least expect it, disrupting our lives and revealing the chaos lurking beneath our carefully constructed facades. The trickster embodies duality, both a destroyer and a creator, a fool and a wise one. It challenges the status quo and forces the ego, the conscious sense of self, to confront the very things it tries to ignore. Our fears, our unfulfilled desires, our hypocrisy, and the false sense of control we cling to. Jung believed that these figures appear in our dreams, fantasies, and myths as guides, albeit mischievous ones, urging us toward greater self-awareness and transformation. They serve a crucial purpose in the process of individuation, the journey toward becoming a whole, integrated self. By tricking, deceiving, and unsettling us, the trickster exposes the parts of our psyche that need to be brought into the light. Jung's concept of the trickster is tied to the shadow, which he describes as everything in us that is unconscious, repressed, or undeveloped. This is not just the dark side of the personality. It includes all the potentialities we've never developed, the talents we've never nurtured, and the desires we've buried. The trickster's job is to poke and prod at these shadows, forcing them to come out of hiding. It disrupts the ego's illusion of harmony and completeness, exposing us to the discomfort of our own contradictions and suppressed instincts. By doing so, it opens the door to growth. For Jung, real psychological transformation can only occur when we confront and integrate the shadow, accepting both the light and the dark within ourselves. But the trickster's influence doesn't end with the individual psyche. It ripples out into the collective, affecting entire societies and cultures. The trickster is often encountered during times of great change or crisis, those moments when the old ways of being no longer work and something new must be born. It is in these liminal spaces, these in-between moments, that the trickster thrives. Throughout history, trickster figures have served as cultural critics, challenging the established norms and pushing boundaries in ways that provoke thought and inspire change. The court jesters of medieval Europe, for example, used humour to reveal the absurdities and flaws of those in power, often under the guise of folly. Meanwhile, trickster tales from indigenous traditions critique social hierarchies, suggesting alternative forms of community and governance. In this way, trickster figures operate not only as psychological forces, but as societal catalysts, shaking up stagnant systems and urging communities to evolve. Even in modern times, trickster energy is alive in cultural movements and digital spaces. Consider the satirists, pranksters, and online activists who use humour, mockery, and chaos to expose societal contradictions and hypocrisies. Groups like the Yes Men or the Digital Hacktivists Anonymous embody this trickster spirit, disrupting the status quo to reveal hidden truths and provoke action. Their methods may be controversial, but like the tricksters of old, their purpose is to shake the collective consciousness and encourage a rethinking of what is accepted as normal or true. These modern-day tricksters serve as reminders that the trickster is not just a mythic or psychological concept, but a living, breathing force that continues to shape society in unexpected ways. The trickster doesn't provide easy answers. It delights in ambiguity, in playing with opposites, and in blurring the lines between reality and illusion. It asks us to see beyond the black and white world of duality and into the more complex, paradoxical nature of existence. Consider the myths and stories that have shaped human consciousness for centuries. Loki's relentless disruptions force the gods to face their own failings. Anansi's clever schemes challenge the established order and reveal hidden truths. Coyote's foolishness and wisdom serve as a mirror to human folly and potential. These are not just entertaining tales, they are psychological blueprints. They illustrate how the trickster, whether through chaos, deception, or laughter, serves as a necessary force for breaking down rigid structures, both within society and within the individual psyche. In the context of modern film, while trickster demons like Beetlejuice, Loki, and The Mask illustrate these dynamics, it's the psychological underpinnings that truly resonate. They show that our fascination with these characters is more than mere entertainment. It's an unconscious recognition of the trickster's role in our own lives and societies. Whether laughing in the face of danger, challenging the gods, mocking societal norms, or dancing on the edge of chaos, the trickster reminds us that transformation often begins with a bit of madness. It's a journey not for the faint of heart, but for those willing to face their own shadows, step into the unknown, and discover what lies on the other side of the looking glass. And perhaps more importantly, it's a journey for those who are willing to see the world, not just as it is, but as it could be, if we dared to let the trickster lead the way. The trickster's influence reaches into the strangest corners of our experience, those places where reality seems to bend and the familiar rules no longer apply. This trickster energy in paranormal phenomena is not just a matter of myth or metaphor. It actively disrupts our understanding of the world. In paranormal studies, George P. Hansen goes beyond seeing the trickster as a mere symbolic representation. He argues that trickster dynamics are crucial to understanding the very nature of paranormal encounters. They break the rules, defy expectations, and leave us questioning the fabric of reality itself. John Keel's research into UFOs and high strangeness, particularly in his investigations in Point Pleasant, West Virginia during the Mothman sightings, adds another layer to this idea. He noticed patterns that suggested a playful, almost mocking intelligence behind the phenomena, something that was not interested in clarity, but in confusion. The same can be said for the men in black, who act less like agents of suppression and more like agents of chaos, whose behaviours border on the absurd, turning credible witnesses into sources of ridicule. Here, the trickster's energy serves as a test, a challenge to our perceptions, and a way to force us to confront the possibility that the universe is far stranger and more complex than we can fathom. But trickster energy isn't limited to UFOs and paranormal entities. It extends into modern digital landscapes where information flows fast and fluid, and truth is often a moving target. In these hyperconnected spaces where anonymity can embolden both brilliance and malevolence, the trickster finds fertile ground. Internet phenomena like viral hoaxes, trolling and meme culture all possess a trickster-like quality, shifting reality, mocking authority, and exposing hidden societal tensions. These online tricksters operate in the shadows, much like their paranormal counterparts, playing games with perception and manipulating the narrative. They thrive on uncertainty and ambiguity, challenging the boundaries between fact and fiction, news and rumour, reality and simulation. Consider how misinformation and digital pranks have shaped public perception, even influencing political landscapes. The trickster's fingerprints are all over these actions, forces that seem to delight in confusion, keeping us guessing at every turn. The digital trickster forces us to examine not only what we believe, but why we believe it. It exploits our cognitive biases, our need for certainty in an uncertain world, and forces us to confront the uncomfortable possibility that we may never fully grasp the truth. In doing so, it pushes us into that same psychological space as the paranormal trickster, where reality is fluid, constantly shifting under our feet. Hansen notes that the trickster often appears in these marginal spaces, where the normal order of things is already under strain. The digital world, with its rapid exchange of ideas and its potential for both enlightenment and deception, mirrors these conditions perfectly. In this way, the trickster isn't just a force of myth or psychology, but a dynamic presence in our modern lives, turning the digital landscape into a new kind of paranormal playground. The parallels between these digital tricksters and their more traditional, paranormal counterparts are striking. Both serve to destabilize our reality and force us to question the reliability of our perceptions. In the same way that men in black might muddle a UFO sighting with bizarre and contradictory behavior, digital tricksters sow doubt and discord in the digital sphere. They serve as provocateurs, their actions revealing not just the instability of our digital reality, but also the deeper, hidden fears and desires that drive us as a society. In both the paranormal and our hyper-connected digital age, the trickster continues to provoke, challenge, and bewilder. Whether in the shadowy figure of the men in black, the playfully sinister antics of online tricksters, or the unsettling phenomena that defy rational explanation, the trickster's hand is evident. It laughs at our confusion, delights in our attempts to explain the unexplainable, and pushes us to look beyond the veil and into the ever-shifting, elusive nature of reality. Yet there is something almost therapeutic about the trickster's presence in these spaces. It forces us to confront the limits of our knowledge and the assumptions that guide us. In the digital age, where certainty is a commodity and doubt a disruption, the trickster's role becomes even more crucial. It reminds us that every belief, every piece of truth can be questioned, and that sometimes the real challenge lies not in finding the answers, but in learning to live with the questions. These modern manifestations of the trickster, whether in the form of UFO phenomena, men in black, or digital culture, serve to bridge the mythic past and our contemporary reality. They reveal that the trickster is not just a figure of ancient lore or psychological theory, but an active, shape-shifting presence that continues to evolve with us, challenging every certainty and revealing the deeper truths hidden beneath the surface of our seemingly rational world. The trickster is everywhere, woven into the myths of ancient cultures, lurking in the shadows of our minds, dancing in the paranormal fringes, and leaping out from our movie screens with a knowing grin. This figure is not just a relic of forgotten tales or a character from a film. It is a force that transcends time and space, challenging us across every dimension it inhabits. In myth, the trickster is the disruptor, the one who breaks the divine order to reveal hidden truths. Loki, Anansi, Coyote, Hermes. These figures force gods and mortals alike to confront the uncomfortable chaos that lies beneath the surface of their orderly worlds. They are both the problem and the solution, forcing creation through destruction, truth through deception. In psychology, Jungian thought places the trickster within the deepest layers of the unconscious. Here it serves as a mirror reflecting the shadow self, the parts of our psyche that we repress, deny, or hide. It is an essential force for growth, for it is only by engaging with this shadow, this internal trickster, that we can hope to achieve true self-realization. Without the trickster, there is no individuation, no journey to wholeness. It is the wild card in the deck of the mind, the unpredictable element that forces us to evolve, to tear down the walls of our illusions, and face the raw, untamed parts of who we are. In the strange world of the paranormal, the trickster's hand is visible in every unsettling encounter, every UFO sighting, every inexplicable phenomenon. Whether in the pages of John Keel's The Mothman Prophecies or George P. Hansen's deep dive into the trickster and the paranormal, we see a force at work that is not content with the boundaries of reality. It shifts, it mocks, it plays, and it leaves us questioning what is real and what is imagined. It thrives in the liminal spaces, those haunted houses, deserted crossroads, and moments when the veil between worlds seems thin. The trickster in the paranormal is not just a ghost, an alien, or a cryptid. It is a cosmic provocateur, laughing in the face of our attempts to make sense of the inexplicable. And in film, the trickster takes center stage in a new form: demons, gods, and ghoulish characters like Beetlejuice, Loki, and the Mask. They entertain, yes, but they also serve a deeper function: to unsettle us, to challenge our notions of right and wrong, to make us question the very fabric of reality. They are not bound by the rules of their worlds, and in this way they force us to see beyond the boundaries of our own. They are the modern-day messengers of chaos and transformation, showing us that sometimes the only way to find truth is to lose ourselves in the madness for a while. Why then are we so drawn to the trickster? Perhaps it is because, deep down, we recognize the necessity of its chaos. The trickster forces us out of our comfort zones, pushing us to look beyond the ordinary, to seek what is hidden beneath the surface. It's a reminder that the world is not just made of order and stability, but is a constant dance between creation and destruction, light and shadow. The trickster challenges our perceptions and reveals that reality is not a fixed, solid thing, but a fluid, shifting landscape where anything is possible. In the end, the trickster is more than just a figure in a story. It's a force that speaks to the core of the human experience. It's the question that has no easy answer, the laughter in the dark, the whisper in the void that tells us to keep looking, keep questioning, keep pushing the boundaries of what we think we know. For it is in the trickster's chaos that the deepest truths are often found, waiting for those brave enough to venture beyond the safety of the known and into the wild, unpredictable realm where the trickster reigns supreme.